Now, are you putting things off because you're saying to yourself, I'm not ready, I'm not an expert, I don't have the equipment? And I know because I did that for a long time. You know, when I used to stack shelves for a living, the only thing that kept me sane was listening to podcasts. I used to love listening to hour after hour of podcasts just to kind of get my head out of my job and into a better place. And I used to listen to those podcasts and I used to say, God, I would love to have a podcast, but I'm not a podcaster. I don't have the money. I don't have the equipment. And I don't think I can do it because I'm not an expert. And I told myself that year after year after year, even though I wanted to have a podcast. But really, all those excuses were just in here. I found out that you don't need to be a podcaster to have a podcast. You know, you can show up today and say, hey, everybody, I'm a podcaster. You don't need permission from anyone. You can just start a podcast anywhere you want. You don't need complicated equipment. You don't even need a laptop. You know, right now there are podcast apps that you can put on your smartphone and you can record a podcast as easily as I'm doing this here. And you don't even need to be an expert. Yeah, sure, you can have some experience on a particular topic or you might like talking about a topic, but you don't need to be an expert. You can be an expert at another time. You can start off a podcast as a beginner podcast, going through all the hurdles you have right now that is going to help people in months to come. So stop, listening to that little voice telling you that you're not ready, you don't have the money, you're not an expert, you don't have the equipment. That's just going to hold you back month after month, year after year. And you will find, if you do a little bit of homework, that none of that has any relevance, because I have a podcast now and I was never a podcaster, didn't have the money, didn't have the equipment, and yet if you go on to iTunes and do a search for Barry J. McDonald or Rightcom, you're going to find my podcast on iTunes and all over the place. So stop listening to the little voice telling you can't do those things because of all those reasons. All those reasons aren't valid. Get started, take action, do it today. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.